Welcome to Life in the Music Business, a masterclass with Professor Pooch and your host, BACEFACE.
People need dance music right now, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, and the problem is a lot of the dance music nowadays is just so basic. There's like nothing that's interesting about it, I find.
My thing is with dance, the thing that attracted me the most, the kind of dance that for some reason was techno. Techno is just something about it that's up. When I did any kind of dance kind of thing, I usually try to lean towards techno because that's what I felt.
Yeah, I love that type of stuff. House music was like my favorite and still is.
Yeah, and just kick ass.
Yeah, 100%. But hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to Life in the Music Business. I'm here with Professor Pooch.
How you doing, everybody?
Yeah, so I mean, we usually have a pre-meeting talk before all of our shows, but here we are.
It's just life in the music business. It's just, sometimes we start the show and realize, oh, we're recording already. Okay, fine. Hi. Yeah.
Exactly.
Welcome to our meeting,
Yeah, what'd you
Oh,
want
it's
to
a good class. Go ahead.
good topics you want to talk about today?
Yeah, and one major one that just sprints out into all different kinds of things. And people don't think about it much anymore because of different reasons. But there's something about a press kit. Everybody
Yeah.
should have a press kit. And, in the old days, okay, you had a lot of physical stuff. Well, you should still have some form of physical stuff with you. You never know who you're going to run into. And we'll go through a list of stuff and things. But I also want you to look at it from a different angle. And in that, well, let's start here. You need to have an EPK. An EPK is an electronic press kit. Now there's sites that do it and stuff like that, but man, you have your own website. And somewhere's in there, you can put the press kit. It's right on. That way they can see everything they need to see anyhow, because you want them to see, the music and all that kinds of stuff. Like the old physical kits, we would have, okay, your pictures, and we're going to talk about pictures. We'll talk about them now. Pictures, yes, good pictures. And the funny ones, oh God, it's embarrassing. Somebody will give me a band picture and they'll say something like, we see the guy on the left, we replaced him. No, you got to give me, it's got to be their present band. You can't fudge that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, if you can get really professional stuff taken, it shouldn't be a problem even with the virus going on and stuff, because it's only two people maybe. And it could be outside, it could be wherever, and they can Photoshop the backdrop, or do it in front of a green screen and put what the hell you want there.
Yeah, press kits are super important. That's how I used to get booked on all my shows. When I used to get booked by Live Nation, and I was like their local Philly support. And so anytime that somebody would come in that was they felt that they needed somebody that was similar to that person, they would call me, or I would just be giving them the shows that I felt I fit with, and that way I was consistent with my brand. But every single time that I ever got picked for a show was based on my press kit and what I gave them, full numbers of what my social media is, all followers all across the board, who I've worked with, what I've done career-wise up to that point, and professional pictures of me on stage, because that's what fit for me. But if you're a producer,
Perfect. That's perfect for what you were doing.
yeah, exactly. So whoever, no matter what your role is, make sure that people can tell that by your pictures, you know?
Yeah, and by the way, on everything, even the pictures, everything you hand in with physical, whatever, make sure there's some kind of communication there. In other words, contact and with an email address or something, so people can, and even, the physical things, man, they used to give, you'd have CDs and DVDs. And that what has to be understood, they always lose the covers. And if you don't have the stuff right on the label of everything, you're going to run into problems.
Yeah, but press kits are super, super important. I always had mine in PDF form, so if somebody needed it on the spot, I would just be able to go to my Dropbox where I have all my stuff organized and saved for everything that I do musically, and just send it right over, you know?
Well, you
And
want to make it real easy for them.
yeah,
And yeah, the thing is, what's great, you know, is just make it so they can see at 3 o'clock in the morning if they want to. You don't have to be there or any of that kinds of stuff. It's just make it as simple as possible with an EPK. It's real simple. Uh, you know, certain, well, let's just run through some of the things you should have. And wherever it is, you should have readily available. You can say here, okay, whether electronically or not. Well, yeah, I mentioned about the pictures. Yeah. By the way, did you ever think of, if you don't know a professional photographer or the other ones are too expensive, or talking to the film schools?
yes, yes, yes. I agree with this 100% because I always found that I was able to, in the beginning stages of my career, I wasn't able to pay anybody to be able to do the photo shoots with me. So what I would do is I would go find students that were looking to get experience that had everything that I was looking for, and pay them a little bit of money, but it's significantly less than what I would be paying a professional photographer that wanted 200 an hour or whatever the price was.
Oh God, you can't believe what some of the prices are
Pri-
nowadays. Yeah,
Prices are very
about
expensive.
$1,500 for a day or something. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it depends on who you go to, but yeah, and see, I taught at an art school, and that's where I got introduced. It was great because you know I taught music business, but there was also arts. There was computer arts, comic books, and I've run into, by the way, artists that have their own comic book.
Wow. That's amazing.
Picture that. Yeah, you know, came up to me. I was doing it, actually talking someplace, and they asked me some kind of question about, what do you think about having, you know, comic book? I said, yeah, it's entertainment now, folks. Anything that sets you apart.
Yeah, and
I
there's
mean,
a lot of there's always somebody that's going to be interested in what you do. And the thing that I found marketing and doing all that stuff brand wise is you got to put your content in front of the people that are going to care about you. A lot of the services that nowadays are giving people followers or whatever that don't give a crap really. I mean, for lack of a better term, about what that brand is. You want to engage with people and follow people and reach out to people that will enjoy what you do.
yeah, just try to get all the components right. And, you know, and yeah, exactly. Um, all right, so we have the pictures. Another thing is a bio.
Yes.
Now,
Hire somebody for that, honestly. Better.
first of all, you're not going to ask yourself the right questions
No.
to put down there. You're not going to realize it's, oh, you know, you're
Mm-mm.
holding back on some. I mean, real quick, I might have told this story. I don't know, a couple of them. One of the guys was at one time was a college football player. Okay. And he says, why should it, you know, because, you know, he was a field goal kicker. And the thing is, and you kicked right with a major university in front of 100,000 people, and you're all alone standing there ready to kick. Believe me, it's going to be noticed by the labels and things like that. That's a plus. You know, anything that'll, you know, shows that you're good under pressure and this and that, you know, it just shows different parts of you and
Yeah,
stuff like
it's
that.
actually interesting that you bring that up because one of my close friends actually that I'm doing music with, she was on a Netflix series show, and some may look at it as if it was a game show or this and that, which is kind of was like a competition contest type of thing. But because she went on there, she was able to meet some connections, and some people have reached out to her because they saw her on that show, and they're like, "Oh man, you got robbed. You should have won the whole thing." Blah blah blah. But now because she got her name out there, somebody reached out to her that has very 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 credible contacts that are in the industry that are doing big things at this current moment, and take every opportunity you can to put yourself out there. That's
Oh, you
yeah.
bring up, might be a funny one. I have this client who was on this kind of I'm not going to name it, a major music show. And she got herself basically thrown off,
Mm.
you know, and just by being, she was turning a lot of different people off and stuff like that. They, even though, but she was an actress. See. The point is, she was out there, got off, which caused more news than if, almost to as if she had won. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
contest, because she just played them. It was kind of strange, but it was cool. It worked.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot
Never
of
know.
yeah, publicity is huge, and getting yourself in publications and getting your name out there is one of the biggest things. I see a lot of people spend thousands and 5, 10,000 and upwards from there just putting stuff on like some of the notable websites, or they do promotion and you pay for an ad on the top part of the bar of their website or something for 1,500, and that just doesn't. It's totally. It's I don't personally, I would never take that route because there's so many ways to get your name out there. Like, I'd rather pay a major magazine my money than to just have my song featured on somebody else's website for what, $2,000 or whatever it is. And I know a lot of people that have done it.
Okay, so let's music videos. Nowadays, I mean, it's a must. Okay,
Which is
so
also part of can be part of your press kit.
that's what I'm saying. We're tying this all together. It'll all fall together. Just we go in a circuitous route. Hey, I got that word right for a change. I usually trip over it. Yeah, the funny part was, I don't know, it was back in 10 years ago by now. The winner of the movie, I mean, the music video of the year cost $300 worth of pizza.
Wait, whoa. Explain that.
In other words, that's all it cost them to get it made. They had, they did it on their own.
Oh, wow.
Instead of hiring somebody for $100,000, they want, it was like 10 years ago. Yeah. But it's been done. I mean, what you could do with an iPhone nowadays, I mean, they advertise it, and stuff like that. They'll have an advertisement with it shooting with an iPhone or something. But no, of course, you want to have a good person do it. Must say, stick in legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, but I know legal stuff. It's very important. If you're going to shoot a video, I got to stick this in here, is that there's two contracts that come in very handy in this point. So you don't have problems down the road. One is for the actors, and anybody but the artists themselves should also be on, sign a release saying, yes, I allow you to use my image and likeness and voice if it comes up or whatever it is. It's an actor's, video release. It's just super important. And by the way, if they're under 18, a parent or guardian has to sign it. But you need a written release of everybody. You just you stick it there before they walk on stage, whatever stage is, have them sign this release.
Yeah, very important. And
Go ahead.
no, I was there was another part of the contract that you wanted to bring up, correct?
Yeah, with the other kind of contract, well, there's a lot about contracts. I could talk forever on them. I have fun with them. But a very important one is a videographer's agreement in English. Whoever's shooting the film, if you have somebody outside, by the way, and it doesn't matter with the actor or actress or the film person, it doesn't matter if you paid them or not. You still need the written releases so you don't have problems down the road. Oh, the best one I just remember was the, I mean, it's sad to, but we can laugh about it, but picture a group. They did not have a partnership agreement, which would have solved a lot of these problems. And they made the video and all that stuff like that. Everything's ready to release all this stuff. And the drummer gets into a fight with the band and says, take me off your video and take me off your drum track. So
Yeah, good luck.
You don't want problems down the road. Things happen. People change, and situations change people. They might have been doing good at one time. Okay. But the videographer's agreement, you want ownership of all the footage. That's the most important part of it. Even if it's not the finished edited video, yeah, of course you want that. But you also want the excess footage. And we run into problems where, well, recently it was a person gave a videographer did his job. Everything's fine. He gives it to his girlfriend to edit it. The girlfriend refused, I'm putting this in short, refused to give back what is known as the B-roll or the excess footage. And it was a fight, but we got it back. She didn't want anybody to change what she did. And I understand that because then she wouldn't get the credit and all this stuff. But the fans love the outtakes. And the outtakes are the best parts. Man, if you go into a studio, everybody, well, I don't care who you are, what you're doing, when you go in the studio, let a camera run.
Or hire a videographer / photographer.
If you want to do that, fine. If it's a bunch of it, I mean, but if you're doing it like daily kind of thing, you can set up something yourself. But yeah, of course, if you could have somebody do it, a friend or whatever, or professional, and just shoot it because, I mean, it's fun. The fans love it when you're jumping up and hey, you're near the board and you're dancing to what you're playing and singing, what you're listening to in the control room and things like that.
Yeah, a lot of people think that they need fancy equipment to do a lot of the stuff that needs to be done to become successful. The iPhone, for instance, shoots in 4K. There's many different settings that you can choose on the iPhone in your settings. You have to actually go to the camera and you can choose the different frame rates and the different resolution of the camera. So you could ultimately record your own music video in 4K, have one of your buddies or something that knows how to move a camera around, just film you jumping around or doing whatever you're doing and do like a few different scenes, and then you can give it to somebody that knows how to edit it. And then that's it. You could be
editing is important.
Editing is important.
The editing is important. You know what I always look for? Whoever the editor is, of course, I want a good editor, but I want to make sure they're also a musician. So that it's the timing of the changes.
Yeah, I've had.
Oh man, I've seen some messes. It should be right with what's happening, the changes.
Yeah.
Of the scene. You got to follow the song, folks.
I've had that happen to me plenty of times.
Yeah, feel the four beats to a measure. I mean, feel this stuff. Somebody you can feel it. And just if you can't do it, you want to be able to. Oh yeah, I'm in this. If they can't get it to your groove, man, you got a problem. I'll tell you.
But it's super important for the EPK to have a visual of you. Whether it's like an assortment of pictures, which you're going to need regardless, like a headshot, like whatever you do, if you're a singer, producer, engineer, blah, blah, blah. For me at that time, I was a DJ, so I had like stage shots, and then the music video.
Whatever fits you, yeah.
Yeah, and then the music video brings out the people get to see more of your personality and who you are. And you shouldn't put too many videos. You should pick like one or two of your best ones just to give them.
Best ones, yeah. Well, it should be, if you can, of a song you're ready to put out, or that you just put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then once the music, so the music videos are one of the most important. You don't want to pick too many. Just pick the one or two of the best ones that you have. Then a few other things that should be included into your EPK. One of them being your tracks. You should have either a link to all of your music, or you pick one or two songs and you put it in your EPK. Then on top of that, you also give them the link so that they can find you everywhere. Nobody wants to be searching for all this stuff. Your EPK is supposed to get the person that you want interested in you as quick as possible. Because if they have to go fishing for it, odds are they're just going to go on to the next EPK.
Next.
Yeah.
Definitely. You should have links that work. And check your links, folks. I a lot of times click on a link and it says 404, which means can't be found. Make sure it's present.
Yeah,
Go
always
ahead.
double check your stuff. I mean, that's very, very important. I mean, there's never a lot of people say, "Oh, you write great emails," and the reason I write great emails is because I read over my email at least 10 times in editing to make sure it's right and it feels right before I send it. I don't just type something and then send it and then be like, "Oh my God, I made a mistake." Same thing with everything else that I do. I don't make mistakes.
Well, it's called being professional,
Yeah,
respecting who you're sending it to or showing it to. And you get mutual respect that way, and it's nice.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, and yeah, we talked. Let's say we talked all that kinds of stuff. The point is, and this is what should be made clear is a lot of it sounds like it's artist. I mean, thank you for putting in about producer because I was going to hit that, and I'm glad you did. uh, that it's not just for artists to know about because producers need theirs nowadays. It's not like the old days where it was just the artist, and the manager had to look out for the artist, which managers, this is important stuff too. Yeah, we talk from both sides all the time. And the artist and the manager, it's very important to know this stuff. You should be knowing it's like my book. I'll jump into it real quick here. My book is artist development and management. That's the name of the book because I look at artists should know what the managers should be doing, and the managers should be knowing what the artists should be doing. You're a team. It's like you're married, you know?
Yeah. It's very, very important. But the last thing I think that should be included into an EPK is, I mean, because it's basically like a cliff notes of who you are as an artist, producer, engineer, songwriter. It doesn't matter. It's you are basically presenting yourself as a business to somebody else. And the final thing that I think is super, super important is all the links to your social media and how many followers you have on those social media, so that the person doesn't necessarily have to go click it to go find out. They can see, oh, this is what, if we were to put this person on this show with this artist, they have this many people they would be able to reach out to, and this is how many people it would hit. And you believe it or not, that
Oh
happens
yeah, it's
so
good.
much.
It's good to. You're right. It's good to build up the numbers, of course. I would if you don't have many, don't list them. But if you're starting to get them and show them on different kinds of sites and stuff like this,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
super, super important. I used to put every single social media, my followers on there, put a link to it just in case they wanted to go check it out, and then that way I just make it easy for them, because you're able to bargain sometimes or barter per se with different promoters, because it's like, hey, listen, I may only have 2,000 followers, but I can guarantee this many people are coming with me, and I can reach out to these people and that people. So you can use your audience and your followers to your advantage, because the show or whatever you're being put on has to be promoted and marketed. So you have to, you can use everything that you have and you've built up in your career to an advantage when it comes to a monetary value.
Oh yeah, I mean it just we used the term press kit, but that's an old terminology. It has to be adjusted for today. I remember for your kind of press kit, in a way. Remember what I said to you, Baseface, when after I saw you had 10 gazillion tracks of all different styles and stuff. What did I tell you to do?
Pick the best five that you wanted that I liked.
Yeah, but they were represent you for each genre. Remember?
Yeah.
So like, because you would have 25 of this kind of music, 50 of this kind of music, but the top five, it shows, something to present. Uh, what I've gotten to be able to do movies, soundtrack kind of stuff, and with working with major people for different things. And you just pick the right songs that you believe fit the situation you're handing it into. Because people are always asking me, with the different things. Some people like to show how diversified they are. They can do any style of music as artists. Okay, producing, that's fine. Artists, it to the major labels, it's a no-no because they don't know where to put you. That's why it's good to be independent and just do it that way, because then you can put out what you want when you want.
You know what? That's an interesting topic that we can kind of lead to, because the one thing that's always been consistent in my career has been people telling me that I do too many things or I make too many different styles of music and I need to pick one for my brand. And let me tell you, people, every single time I've ever been told that, I I completely defied those orders because I
Gotta
get
fit you.
yeah, and that's the thing is that they try to put me in a box. They say, "Oh, I was making EDM for a while. Oh, you have to make this style EDM because your name matches this, or you have to do this because of this." And it's
That's their opinion. My
and
thing is listen to opinions. If it makes sense, okay. If it doesn't make sense to you, then don't use it.
yeah, yeah, exactly, and that's a good advice because even when when I first started out, I was kind of taking that advice like, "Oh yeah, I should listen to this person because they've
Yeah,
done."
but they see they didn't see who you really were.
No, of course,
Yeah, this is what you do. And with producing and engineering and doing tracks, I mean, let's say you wanted songs for a film, and somebody says, I need this kind, we're putting out this kind of film, you can match a song to that film. It has to fit the person.
but most people don't have that willpower and determination to keep moving forward. Like as soon as they face any type of challenge or struggle, they automatically collapse and just either give up or just let it take over their life. And for me, it's always been that I just trusted myself and just went forward with what I believed in, and I didn't
that's
care what
why
anybody else
that's
said.
why that's why it pays to be independent. You could do whatever you want. Nobody can tell you how to be or what to do. I mean, that's the way I see it with.
Yeah. I think being independent is really a great tool, but at some point you're going to have to do business with a major, whether it's distribution or marketing or something. I mean, to be able to
Oh,
really be,
yeah. If and when it gets to that point, but you're in a better bargaining position because they're taking you, they want you because of the way you are.
yeah, of course. And
Oh, no.
that's
As
every,
I say, I do this in my write up or the state of music business. It doesn't matter when we're talking. It doesn't matter what style, where you want to go. Let's say you want to be independent for the rest of your life, fine. Or 180 degrees, you want to be with a major label, or boom. If you want to have any control of your career, you still got to start out as an independent. You're not going to just sit in your room wait for some major to find you. Ain't going to happen nowadays.
no, no, it will not. And nowadays, the majors are all looking for people that are out there doing it, improving it, because they
That's
want to
it.
see if
Make it easy.
if they give you $2 million right off the bat, they want to know that their investment is safe and they'll be able to make that money back by how you represent yourself, how hard you work, how determined you are, and the ability to go to the to wit's end to get the job done. I mean, those are the main attributes of major artists that get signed nowadays.
Well, yeah, and they could see your strengths and what you can do, and that you're successful on your own, and makes it easy for them to want to give out more money.
Yeah.
Let's face it, if they don't know you, the
Oh,
front money's gonna be eh. As
exactly.
you get more and more, there's more money that it'll make it worth your while. I mean, I'll get this. Well, it's like Arcade Fire and I always Macklemore. Let's use Macklemore first. Macklemore uh, went to the majors. They turned him down. He makes it big on his own. They come crawling to him, and he uses them just for what he wants to use them for. I mean, nothing like radio airplay help and things like that. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, they're giving him a ton of money for the privilege of doing it. You have more control. My thing is, which is very important, is some kind of creative control, and that's what you're talking about, Baseface, when you're saying doing different styles of music.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you want creative control, and this is, and if you want it bad enough, it's going to happen one way or another.
If you want it bad enough and you're willing to do whatever it takes, but you cannot sit back and wait for things to happen for you. You have to go out there and get it. Opportunities don't create themselves, you create the opportunity. So if you're persistent, you'll be able to get a lot further ahead of the game by hustling and bustling every single day as opposed to showing up every Monday and grinding that for Monday and then you don't do anything for the rest of the week. So you know what I mean? It's the same thing with practicing. Like that was the one thing, believe it or not, that was a pain in the neck for me growing up was I
Me
love playing the instruments, but I could never practice.
That's why I could play a lot of instruments, but fairly well. But I would never hire me.
No, yeah, but the whole point, the
I'm
whole
not a
point,
practiced musician, really.
yeah, yeah,
Unless I'm just doing rough rock and roll. I'm fine for rhythm.
yeah,
Yeah.
the whole point here that I was making is that you have to be more, if you want to do this, you have to set in the consistent amount of hours every day. The reason I was able to get good and do what I am able to do now is because I was sitting in my room 8 to 12 hours every single day for the first 5 years that I started making music, to be able to learn this whole trade inside and out, from the production aspect, to be able to really take advantage of everything, instead of sitting here being like, oh, I'm going to do this part-time. Then if you're doing it part-time, you're going to get part-time efforts, but in part-time rewards. So but if you want to do this full-time and you want this to be your career, you have to be putting in full-time effort and work.
Well, it brings up a good point, and that is, well, they'll say, "Well, wait a minute, I have to make money, work, and make money." I have clients and people have interviewed me, different people that I've worked with and stuff. What they've been doing is this is fits under one of these. Meanwhile, on the way to the bank, uh, they're teaching. I know several that are like they're really good with vocals. They're teaching voice. It's
Mhm.
still within the thing, keeps them practice too, And so they and guitar playing, how do you play guitar? How do you play bass? And sometimes it's a person, it's only two people, you just wear masks, if it's a virus or whatever. Otherwise it's through Zoom or whatever.
Yeah,
You
or
know,
I know a lot of people that are trying to make it in the music industry, working at a complete opposite job that's in another industry. So those people are working at like a food, in the food industry and stuff like that. But people don't realize you can make money in the music industry on the way of building up in the music industry. There's so many things like jingles, and if you sing and you can write songs, you could write jingles for companies and get paid any amount of money for that jingle to be able to pay your bills. So you don't necessarily need to be working at McDonald's or flipping burgers or making pizza. You can do something that's in the industry that and still make a living, because there's so much
and get found
inconsistency.
and get found by
Yeah,
doing that stuff. I
that's what
mean,
I'm saying. There's so much
it,
inconsistency when it comes to pay in this industry that you have to come at this from all angles. And if you want to be in the music industry, you have to submerge yourself in the industry to be able to really get everything that you're supposed to out of it.
yeah, I mean,
That's just my personal
obviously it
advice.
depends on what you want to do. If you have a dead one track mind, you better work on that dead one track mind. Yeah, the point is, and you said like work on something totally alien. My thing has always been you can work for somebody else and make their dreams come true, or work for yourself and make your dreams come true. You have the choice. The thing is, but it does take, you have to put just as much effort. If you're on another job and you aren't giving full effort, wouldn't they fire you? So, and you
Depends.
want to
If you're working at McDonald's, you're not getting fired. But if you're working anywhere else, you're most likely going to get fired because your employer want to see that you're interested. You know what I mean? And the thing about the music industry is that it's a business, and a lot of people don't realize that they like, just because they're doing it themselves, they think that it's just something they're doing. They don't realize the business and the full amount of the benefits that they reap from putting in all this work and effort into themselves. They don't understand it because it's hard. It's not tangible right away. It's always something in the distance. Like for me, when I first started, it was always I wanted to be the number one DJ in the world, do this and do this and do that. So I was chasing that and chasing it. But as I kept building, it became more and more and more tangible.
what happened to me what happened to me was I just kept shifting into all these different things from just being an artist. I mean, I was just in the beginning, I was a rock and roll artist, singer songwriter, rock and roll artist, the band and stuff. And then I got into all these other things. Life is a funny thing, but I enjoy doing a lot of things. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to do that, but hey, if you can make money giving voice lessons instead of having to work at a store that is totally alien to what you're doing, and you just never know. I told the story the other night. I'm not going to in one of the other shows, but basically somebody stole a recording out of my uh, thing years ago, and ended up being a great thing to happen. You just never know. The industry is so strange.
Yeah, that's just some of the advice I was able to give you guys because I lived it. And I mean, most of the stuff that's happened to me in my career was basically by accident, but it was because I was in search of something greater for myself that those opportunities came along. Like I was featured on Fox You Think You Could Dance for season 15, 16, and 17 with all original production that I created and mixed and mastered myself. And that had come along from me posting videos and being active in the community all over social media. And then somebody saw me and they're like, wow, we love your stuff. We would love to feature it on the show. And it was like, boom, it just happens.
Well, it brings up the biggest overall point. If nobody ever hears about you, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
You-
it's
you
tough.
know.
It's tough, especially nowadays because social media is just not what it used to be. I could say that.
Yeah, no, well, besides the politics and stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's same platform wise and stuff like that, but they've made so much money off of ads nowadays that it's impossible to really get the outreach. I mean, only they say only 10% of your Instagram following actually get to see your posts. When I
Oh
first
yeah, they keep the feed low unless you're going to pay for ads.
Yeah, and when I first started, it wasn't like that. This was when I started right in 20, it was the end of 2013. I had started getting into it into 2014. At that time, I was posting nonstop. I was gaining followers. I was able to get myself up to 20,000 followers on Instagram just based on me posting. Now, if you were to do that, you would have to release probably 3, 4 times the amount of content than what I was posting back then to be able to be seen. And that's the only way to beat the algorithm, unless you have a huge budget to put money into everything.
Yeah, I mean, money doesn't hurt. By the way, if you set up professionally and do it all right, you not necessarily like Arcade Fire, what they did when a major wouldn't come to them, they found a manager who had an investor. And you just never know if you're really put the effort into it and make your own luck by being persistent. It keeps coming back to that. People don't want to hear it. They think it's a curse word. But man, you know, when I started as a rock and roller, I don't give a damn about the money or anything like that. It's all cool. But I realized along the way, you know, uh, getting married, let alone having kids, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you do need money in this world, folks. So you might as well do it doing something you love to do. Just put the effort into it.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. It's definitely not going to be easy, and I'll tell you this right away. But I will say it'll be worth it. In the end, it'll be worth it because you are building something bigger than yourself that will be able to touch millions of lives over your career, musically or whatever you decide to do within it. But
It's accomplishment. You've accomplished something. The harder it is and the more stuff you put into it, the better you're going to feel the accomplishment. But the thing is, you can have fun with it throughout the whole way. It shouldn't be looked at as, effort can be fun. It can be fun effort. You're doing it for something you love, at least. But you could have fun, make it into a game. There's a lot of stuff I don't like doing. I mean, everybody has stuff that have to do they don't like doing. You make it into a game and whatever. It's just have fun with it. There's no law that says you can't. If
every
you look at it drudgery, it's going to be drudgery.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of the people in the music industry, they treat it like a business, and it's not supposed to be just the business. It's also supposed to be the creative side and the energetic, the excitement of making music. You know what I mean? That's what all of us are pursuing is being
Well,
able to have our music touch other people's lives. And
exactly. We're doing something for other people. And the thing is that what people miss a lot of times is, oh, it's business. I'm creative. But you can do both at the same time. Like to me, they'll say, well, I don't want my hook to repeat and stuff in a song or something like that. I say, if you had a line that was worth repeating, it solves the problem. You could be commercial, business way, and still have integrity. It's just you have to be good. Yeah.
So put in the work, be consistent, write out the time. Your free time shouldn't be spent watching Netflix and watching other people become successful. You should be sitting there creating for yourself and building your own brand and who you are as an artist, producer, engineer, songwriter, manager, booking agent, whatever you want to do in the music industry that has you intrigued and excited about it. Go towards that with everything that you are worth, because I promise you, in the end, it'll be worth it. It may not make sense at this moment, but it will be worth it if you continue to do the things that you need to do for you,
Well,
especially now.
yeah, it's the whole key is you have to have a purpose, and a purpose that this is what you want to do. It's just this end goal with goals to make it through the way. Just have a purpose in it, and just, I mean, if anything, what this show ended up turning into basically is, yeah, it does take work, but have fun with it, and you can still have integrity and still do business. There's a thing that I've used actually since about 1984 with the music biz book I wrote. It said, and it was talking right away about it. They say, Pooch, you're taking the mystique out of it. Wait a minute. I'm not taking the mystique out of the music. I'm taking the mystique out of the business, so you understand it. There's no mystery there, but I'm not touching your music. It still needs, you could have integrity though. And, like hook lines, things worth repeating that attracted you. It could have been a guitar line, a bass line, a drum roll. It's certain things that make, things stand out, that grabbed you, and it's worth repeating. Da, 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 the things that stay. And you bought the song because of that guitar thing, that was worth repeating.
Yes, but even when it was repeated, it wasn't beaten to death. That's the key.
No, oh yeah, you can overdo it.
Of
I
course.
have run into people that I repeated the hook too many times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's even happened to me the other day. I sent Pooch a mix, and I was like, "Oh, what do you think about it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's too consistent throughout the whole time." And then the reason that was is because I was playing the same loop throughout the whole song. I was filtering out, doing that type of stuff, but I wasn't actually changing it. I wasn't adding progression to the song. I wasn't making it interesting for the listener. I was just kind of listening to it like, "Oh yeah, it's just so dope. Like I can't believe it." Blah blah blah. But it's important to add changes in there if you want to stand out. If you want to be like everybody else, just go online, find a loop, and just repeat the whole thing and just sing something over top of it. I'm sure that you'll sound like everybody else. But if you want to be yourself and who you can actually be as an artist and take this industry to the next level, then you have to do what makes sense to you. And that's the beautiful thing about music. It's all an opinion. There's no right or wrong. So take the piece of time that we were given in a song and do what you'll do with it and enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think that's a good episode today, Pooch.
Okay. Yeah, we got a little. It's we all need a good kick in the butt every once in a while. It happens. It's daily life gets in the way sometimes, but everybody needs a good kick in the butt.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I guess we pretty much hit everything. There was one funny thing I was going to add, and I forget what it was, but it'll probably come in a further episode. Listen to them all, folks. Listen to them all. Oh, yeah, and I am putting them up one day at a time. A new one on Facebook /Poochcast. Facebook.com/Poochcast. POOCHCAST. And I'm putting a new one up every single day. We had like 30 episodes up. Well, they're all going to be on Facebook. It's just I'm doing one at a time.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys for everybody that's liking, subscribing, tuning into the show, sharing us to your friends and stuff. The word has been getting out, and we appreciate everything you guys are doing. Just keep up the good work, and we are going to be here to provide as much information and knowledge and use of knowledge that we possibly can to help you guys take the next level in your career. But the most important thing I could leave you guys with today is that it's not about having all the knowledge. It's about going out there and doing it and using it and understanding it. By practical use, you have to take that action. So
Yep. Yeah, there's nothing like experience. So I'll just say tune in for the next episode, everybody.
All right,
Bye-bye.
guys. See ya.
Thanks for watching. Tune in for the next episode.